You don't know. You don't know the pain, man.
Hey Mickey, hey Mickey, oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you, oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Met this boy named Mickey, he had on some yellow ticky.
Good morning, folks. Building off the last video that I posted nearly 3 months ago, I wanted to take a better look at Khepris Sting, and what better to call it during Season of the Deep than a deep dive. Starting off, this video is going to be sectioned by concept. Firstly is the bug itself, secondly is the weapons used and options that you can have, thirdly, armor and build crafting, and lastly, teammate solutions. Before I talk about the bug, I'd like to refer to how Khepris Sting is supposed to function. So Khepris reads, punching someone with full melee energy will instantly cast Smoke Bomb. Your Smoke Bombs deal increased damage, regenerate more quickly when stuck to a surface, and grant you True Sight after damaging a target. Previously, Khepris would activate when you were within your own smoke cloud. They have since been changed to only grant True Sight after damaging a target with your smoke. Instead, I'm now going to talk about a bug that completely breaks this and gives you True Sight on demand as long as there's a teammate near you. The crux of the Khepris setup revolves around a bug currently working, where if you throw a smoke at a teammate, or have a teammate in the smoke that a smoke grenade creates, you will gain True Sight. Just using one teammate and this bug, you can gain True Sight and have easy picks on a lot of different angles. Since Khepris give you True Sight now anywhere on the map as long as there's one teammate near you, you can get a lot of very easy picks by face checking angles that enemies don't expect you to be on. So, to reiterate, you can gain True Sight with one of 3 methods. The first being, obviously, hitting an enemy with your smoke, the second being hitting a teammate directly with the smoke, and third, having a teammate in the smoke cloud when the smoke goes off. When deciding on weapons to pair with Khepris, there are a few questions you want to ask yourself first, starting with, do you snipe? If the answer is yes, there's no better option than Cloud Strike. Currently, Cloud Strike can be paired with a lot. Immortal, Rose, a Pulse Rifle, Austringer, a Sidearm, really anything. It covers a lot of range. If the answer is no, try out a Linear Fusion Rifle like Arbalist or Lorentz. For primary options, Dead Man's Tail, Graviton Lance, Revision Zero, No Time, or Le Monarch all hold their weight fantastically. My first choice for both special and primary are a sniper of your choice and an SMG to dominate in close quarters. For a primary option, at least until next season, Monarch still has very little competition. It's incredibly powerful. Unlike choosing weapons, build crafting is a much more intensive process. The subclass is not an exception. Void Hunter is still, in my opinion, Hunter's most versatile subclass, and Khepris does a lot to elevate that. Khepris doesn't require any specific aspects, fragments, abilities, or the like. You're completely free to make your own choices personally. I roll with Stylish Executioner and Trapper's Ambush. I advise against Invis Dodge because a selfish dodge to get rid of radar for a flank is useless when you need a teammate nearby. Because of the high uptime that Khepris grants your melee, Trapper's Ambush allows you to have an easy out of any mid-air fight, and the ability to conceal your entire team at will. So, because it's late and because I forgot to put this into the video, not because I didn't get any footage of it, I just wanted to talk about why Shatter Smoke, otherwise known as Trapper's Ambush, is so beneficial. So we're up against this guy right here, the conditional Antaeus SMG Titan, and I'm gonna fight him, right? I'm gonna be up in the air, I'm gonna fight him the whole time, and then at the last second when he's about to die, I dodge back into cover. So I'm safe, we can fight again. These two are here essentially just because they can be, but it also makes them both invis, makes life easier. Because so much of the Hunter kit can weaken enemies, Stylish Executioner adds even more wallhack opportunities to take advantage of. The fragments are completely personal choice. Leeching for health on melee kills or Vigilance for some post-duel protection are great to start with. My best advice is to start with something you're comfortable with and then test the waters. A default setup I use is Vigilance, Leeching, Undermining, and Dilation for a nice mix of stats and lethality. Your neutral abilities, like Grenade and Dodge, are also completely up to you. Gambler's Dodge gets you smokes back more often if one is destroyed before it can recover naturally, but your uptime is also high enough at base so some of the util is wasted. Marksman's Dodge is a good, reliable dodge for keeping you in fights more often. Moving on to armor, there are 4 stats you need to learn how to balance. Firstly, strength is a must. Shoot for 8 to 10 depending on what class ability mods you use. Personally, I go for 10 and use no class item mods, but 9 and 1 outreach or 8 and 2 outreach mods are also valid setups. After strength, you want to focus mobility for dodge cooldown. There's variants here as well. You can use a flat 10, you can use kickstarts, you can use a lightweight weapon with tier 8 mobility, a combination of any of those. It's up to you as long as you can push your dodge cooldown further down. After that, I would personally say intellect. You're playing this build competitively. You're playing in trials or competitive with this build, which means that you want your super as often as possible, which means that any stat that you can spare into intellect, you should, which is why I've gone with 7. This just happens to be the highest that I can get. If you can get higher, then do so. After that, resilience and discipline are your next 2 most important stats. Resilience is your amount of health and your flinch resistance. This doesn't have to be super high because most of the time you're going to be invisible. Personally, I don't build too high into discipline, mainly just because I can't. While suppressor nades are the best grenade in the game in my opinion, I just can't build all the way into discipline because I value my super, smoke, and dodge more than that. Lastly, recovery is the least important stat but still holds a place in the build. Your recovery stat can shift with however you want to play. If you have Echo of Vigilance, that means that you don't have to have as high of recovery because you can benefit from the overshield after a kill. Arguably, the hardest part of this build is finding a teammate who's willing to stand still. For me, that's been this guy, Scrubby Fresh, but they can be anyone for you. Just find your stand stiller. As for their loadout, there's no binary best loadout. Choose what you like the most. A build we have found success with, however, is this Boots of Assembler build with Lumina that takes advantage of noble rounds to give you a 20% damage bonus and allows you to win fights a little easier. The combination of easy pick potential in Khepris and the consistency and late game power of Lumina Assembler makes this combo work really well together. You can cover both the start and end of a round if both teammates are playing optimally.